What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Caleb Perez Show. It is late at night. It's about 10:16 at night. Chicago Bears and the LA Rams just finished up their NFC Divisional Round game, and the Divisional Round of the playoffs is officially over. So I'm just want to make a video giving my initial reactions about the Divisional Round. I wanted to save this video for when it was over. I forgot to make a prediction video entirely. My apologies about that. But the Divisional Round is over. None of my friends are getting on PlayStation right now, so I just want to give my initial reactions to how the NFC wildcard or the divisional round went, and maybe some insight on what we could see for the NFC and the NFC Championship game, which will be next weekend. Tomorrow, I should have my prediction video for the National Championship game, and hopefully talk about more upcoming news in the sports world, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to talk about. But yeah, so we're going to start off with yesterday's games. We'll get into tonight's games very soon. But start off with yesterday's games. We had the Bills and the Broncos. The Broncos take down the Bills 33-30 in what was a thriller. Went down to the very last minute of overtime. Not the win. It went down to the wire. Excuse me. Went down to the wire in overtime. Both teams got the ball at least once. Denver got it twice. But yeah, it was a very back and forth game. A lot of great offense. Denver won the game. That was until 20 minutes after the game when Sean Payton unfortunately announced that Bo Nix is out for the rest of the postseason, broken bone in his ankle. So prayers up to Bo Nix, prayers for hopefully a speedy recovery on what was a really good quarterback for what was a very exciting year for the Denver Broncos. But once again for the Bills, just too many mistakes. And I feel like we talk about this for the Bills every single season. We've said so many times that this is going to be their year. But this one feels different. Because I also believed for a while that this could be Buffalo's year. Because the only two guys who had beaten him in the playoffs before this season were finally gone. Mahomes was not in the picture. Burrow was not in the picture. The only two quarterbacks that Allen's lost to in the playoffs were gone. I thought they'd be able to finally get it done and that this could be the year. And once again, it's a crushing defeat. It started with the turnovers. Josh Allen made too many errant decisions. Decisions that a guy of his caliber and a guy of his experience should not be making as an NFL quarterback at this point in his career. I mean, throwing the ball away that turned into another 3 points for Denver for the end of the first half. Just way too many turnovers. Just throughout the game in general. And then the last throw in overtime, granted, it wasn't really his fault, put the ball in a good spot, but the Denver defender just made a better play. It started off with the mistakes for Buffalo. And once again, it's mistakes that kill them. You know, we talked about this in 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, last year, and now this year again. That's 8 years in a row of us talking about how this could have been Buffalo's year, but one too many mistakes cost them again. So, congratulations to Denver. Big win. They will host the AFC Championship game. Both number one seeds won their games. We'll talk about the Seattle Niners game here in a second. Seattle versus the San Francisco Niners game, 49ers game in a second, but yeah, it's another year, another lost year for Buffalo, and major changes at this point have to be made because this is so many years in the Sean McDermott era. You've gotten the same great results in the regular season, followed by heartbreak in the playoffs. Another just bad performance from Josh Allen when many people thought he was the best quarterback left in the playoffs. He didn't play like it. He was better than one other guy, but yeah, that's all I got to say for that game. It's another disaster class from Buffalo. Another heartbreak. Um, and then we get to the San Francisco 49ers against the Seattle Seahawks. Um, Belt to ass. That's all I can describe that game. It was just belt to ass. Second, Shaheed housed the opening kickoff. I knew this game was going to be a blowout, and it was a blowout. And if you were to see how close these two games were in the regular season, sure, Seattle won 13-3 in the last matchup, and it looked like Seattle dominated the game. It was still close. This game wasn't close. These two teams who entered the playoffs as legit Super Bowl contenders, looked like the exact opposite in this game. Seattle looked like the clear favorite to win the Super Bowl, and San Francisco looked like they didn't even deserve to make it. But if there are any Eagles fans out there trash talking online, y'all don't deserve the trash talk. You still lost to the Niners. But yeah, belt to ass, all those fancy gimmicks. in the pregame and walking out in the tunnel just to kick 2 field goals is not exactly a good look. But yeah, great performance by the Niners. That defense looks so strong, and their offense looked really good as well. Special teams, especially. Kenneth Walker had a great game on the ground. I understand he got those last couple of touchdowns in really garbage time, but still, great performance from Seattle all around. Of the teams I saw play last round, I was by far the most impressed with how well Seattle looked. So yeah, I think Seattle is the clear favorite to win the Super Bowl. I'll go over my uh, AFC NFC Championship game predictions in a future video, but I'm just saying, as of this moment, Seattle's my pick to win it all. And I'm not just saying that because they blew out San Francisco. I'm saying that because all around, they look like the most impressive team in the postseason so far. Yeah, this one's not going to be as much. I don't got as much to talk about in this game as I did in the last one, but it was a blowout. I mean, true belt to ass fashion for 4 quarters. And then we move over to today's games. The first game being the Houston Texans going to the New England Patriots. New England wins the game 28-16. New England had some rough moments. This game was littered with turnovers. Drake May fumbled the ball a bunch. The Texans defense tried their hearts and souls out, but CJ Stroud, man. Oh, God. As a Buckeye fan, dude, that is not the CJ Stroud I saw at Ohio State. That was not the CJ Stroud I saw his rookie year. And we haven't seen that CJ Stroud for a while. I mean, he made just complete bonehead decisions, and he got cleaned it up more in the second half, but dude, there's some passes that you just gotta know as a quarterback, just take the sack. It's not worth chucking it up in double coverage just to try to avoid a sack when you put your team in even more danger by doing so. He looked like a guy playing his first game in the NFL. Not like a guy who's been here for the last 3 years, who's won 3 playoff games in the past. Just complete rookie mistakes by a guy who should be much better. And I've said before, the only thing holding back the Texans was their offense. Their defense played great. Their defense got a good amount of turnovers too. Their defense has been just so dominant all year long. Yet it's time and time again. Their offense is just holding them back so much. And it did so again today. I genuinely wonder why we didn't see Davis Mills play, because I understand he may not be to the same caliber of CJ Stroud when they're at their best. He would have done better than CJ in that game. I mean, CJ looked fucking awful. And it held back the Texans. I don't know who needs to go to Houston for us to see the CJ Stroud we saw in his rookie year. I think Nick Caley needs to be fired. That offense was terrible, terrible blocking schemes, a complete lackluster run game, too many drops from the receivers. Listen, I will put a lot of hate on CJ Stroud because he deserves it. He threw just complete bonehead decisions when it came to throwing up the 4 interceptions. But at the end of the day, when he has no time to throw, the running game did not get going at all, and his receivers dropped that many passes. What do you expect? Houston offense held them back completely. Patriots did just enough to win, in my opinion. That wasn't a good. These first 2 games in the playoffs, while New England did have a few really good scores, at the end of the day, they did not look like a Super Bowl winning team, in my opinion. But they did enough to win, and Houston could not. Houston looked like ass for 4 quarters, bailed out by a couple of touchdowns. But yeah, that's my initial reaction to that game. I imagine in tomorrow's video I'll make more of a detailed take on the playoff games, maybe, but just my initial reaction. Sloppiness from the Texans. And they need to make some changes. Like, they honestly need to not only they need to once again reconsider the offensive coordinator, because Nick Caley is a terrible OC. They might need to consider a new quarterback at this rate. Because this is the second year in a row that terrible play from the quarterback position really held them back. And this one was just egregiously awful. But yeah, we move on to the game that just finished up. Chicago Bears and the LA Rams. The Rams beat the Bears 20-17 in overtime. Great defense. I knew this was going to be a game won in the trenches and by the defenses of each side. A lot of people gave the Bears defense hate. The Bears defense played really well. Just couldn't make as much plays as the Rams defense did. Man, that throw by Caleb Williams, though, wow. That might be the play of the year. To send the game to overtime in the biggest of stages. That throw from Caleb Williams, perfect. Was perfect. But it is not enough. He threw He threw an interception in overtime. Bears turned the ball over way too many. Bears, I believe, had 3 turnovers. The Rams didn't have any. At the end of the day, in the playoffs, turnovers mean a lot. At the end of the day, the Rams didn't turn the ball over. They won the turnover battle, and because of that, they were able to win the game. And yeah, there was just too many times when Caleb Williams just did not look on touch with his receivers. That last one to DJ Moore specifically, the last pass that he threw this season will be an interception. And when you look at the way CJ or DJ Moore reacted at the end of the route, it looked like he didn't know the ball was going his way. So it was a miscommunication there. His DJ Moore had no idea the ball was coming to him, and because of that, Cameron Curl made the better play. Got the interception. Rams didn't have the best drive on offense, but they did just enough to get in the field goal range to walk it off. Great job by the Rams. They will go to Seattle and take on the Seahawks next weekend. Winner of that game, obviously. Winner of both games next weekend determine who plays each other in the Super Bowl. But yeah, that's my initial reactions to these games. As far as my favorite, I do not really see the AFC winning it this year. I just think New England's made too many mistakes. They didn't look like the New England we saw in the regular season. And then I would say the Broncos would have had the best chance, but with Bo Nix out for the season now, I have no idea how Jarrett Stidham's going to be. This will be his first time throwing a football since like the last few weeks of the season in 2023, I think. Like, it's been a while since Jarrett Stidham's thrown a football, and now he's the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos in their biggest game in a decade. And then, yeah, I think the Super Bowl winner comes from whoever wins the NFC Championship game. Seattle because they look the most well-rounded in the first game, and then the Rams because they have the most talent. And while they haven't looked the best, they know their best against the Bears. You know that talent's there. It's a matter of can the defense tidy up their play a bit more. Obviously, this is a team who, in most of their last 7 or 8 games, I believe, allowed 30 points a game. So the defense struggled a bit. Obviously, the defense, they cleaned it up this game. They looked really good. Held the Bears to just 17 points, and they were able to get a win in a very hostile Soldier Field. But yeah, if the Rams can tidy it up on defense, they have a legitimate chance. If McDarnold's doesn't open again and doesn't throw too many interceptions, and Seattle's got a very good chance. But in my opinion, the winner of the Super Bowl will come from the NFC side of the bracket this year, based on what I'm seeing right now. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I just want to make something real quick, talk about what I saw, what my thoughts are on the divisional round. There's a lot of really good games, some not really. AKA the Niners versus Seahawks game, which was basically over since the opening kickoff. But we move on. National championship game between Indiana and Miami is tomorrow. I will make a video where I break down that matchup a lot more coming out tomorrow to preview that. But until then, that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next time. Peace.